Welcome everybody.
Or
We're going to talk about SEO Pilot today.
yep. So let me
Um,
give a warm welcome. So everyone, a huge welcome to all the Rocketeers today. So today's webinar is an extraordinary because we have with us the man himself, Charlie, who is the mastermind and the founder behind the new platform called SEO Pilot, which you guys have tried and used. So Charlie, thank you. I think it's rare to see you here with on the webinar with everyone. So anyone who has seen me from the profile picture, they thought that you're the same since like the last 7 years, but they don't know
yep,
how you have changed. So welcome and thank you for taking out time to join and give everyone a glimpse.
yep, of course. Anything for our community. Plus, I think there's a need for this type of more detailed deep dive, especially for this product. So other products you could probably rely on what you see on the screen, whereas this one, I think there's some information that needs to be shared from the founder's perspective, and then also just what's
Yep.
happening behind the scenes. So let's just dive deep because one of the things I don't want to do is take up all of our attendees' time, or at least too much of it. So I'm going to jump right in and probably start with some context first as to what the heck do we know about SEO? What makes us so qualified to even be having this discussion? And then we can dive into the app itself.
Perfect. Let's do it.
All right, cool. So for those that don't know, we run a pretty large portfolio of both SaaS products as well as agencies. So on the agency front, we run a company called 99 Robots, which has been around almost a decade now. And long behold, it does SEO, but it also does pay-per-click advertising. It's done a lot of content creation strategy, marketing strategy, product launch, you name it. We've done it for billion-dollar companies, but then we've also done it for small business owners, the local mom and pop shop, or a course creator, coach, or things of that nature. So the spectrum is pretty wide in terms of who we work with. Um, that being said, SEO and content, if you asked me at any given point, are probably something every company, every startup should start right from the beginning, regardless of the fact that they have a product out there or a service ready or whatnot. You should just go all in on SEO. And the reason is it takes time. And anything that takes time, you want to start as early as possible because you want to give the search engines enough time to start indexing your content and then over time to actually rank your content. Nothing's going to rank on day one unless you're trying to go for extreme long tail keywords that no one's really trying to compete for. So if you're going for something that has 50 searches worldwide, fine, you can rank tomorrow. But if you're going for something that actually has competition, you're going to need some stellar content. And in most cases, you want that content to be um, something that at least emulates what's already ranking. So rather than try to go figure out what Google wants, what you do is you go figure out what Google ranks, which is slightly different. It's just a different angle, going from the front of the equation to the back of the equation. And so that's kind of like how we've always approached SEO for all of our companies. And so for those of you that do know some of our companies, you know what our SEO looks like. We tend to have some pretty high domain authority, pretty organic backlinks. But there's a lot of secret sauce behind the scenes that's driven that. It's not automatic. And most of that secret sauce is what we're going to be talking about today. So even though we'll talk about the two, obviously the app, I'll kind of share some of the tidbits of like, hey, this is something that we needed for ourselves. So we saw what was out in the industry. There are some cool tools out in the industry, so I'll give credit where it's due. And so what we said is, hey, can't afford those tools for the 10 companies that we have, and the amount of content that we want to produce and what we want to do internally. Some of them don't do certain things that we want. So let's just go build our own. So we are kind of scratching our own itch, which is the best way to launch a product, is solve your own problem. And I'm sure there are other people who have the same problem. So that's why all of you are here. So let's talk about SEO Pilot. So what we started with was a Chrome extension first and foremost. Some of you know the Chrome extension, some of you don't. But we started with a Chrome extension largely because there was a very good Chrome extension called SEO Minion that went paid. It was free for a while, it went paid. And so, long story short, we were like, well, let's just build our own at that point. And so that's really what happened. And so now that we have that Chrome extension, what happened is we said, hey, that is nice for on-page SEO, tells me a lot about what I need to do to rank, but now I actually have to go write the content. And so we try to bake in a light editor, AI writer into the Chrome extension, but there were probably 50 other options you just couldn't bake into a Chrome extension. So we said, no, this needs to be a standalone SaaS. And so then we said, all right, let's go build a standalone SaaS. And we, to avoid confusion, or to create confusion, of course, we named it the same thing. It's still called SEO Pilot, right? But there's a reason why we did that. There will be some crossover and interplay later in life between the extension and the SaaS. So if you're wondering why is the extension called SEO Pilot and why is the SaaS called SEO Pilot, later we will show you, and I'll give you some ideas of how we want to bridge the two. But for now, I'm just going to quickly show you the on-page SEO extension so that it'll bleed nicely into the SaaS itself. Okay, so let's go ahead and find, let me share my screen here.
Or
Can I
let's do it.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see
And
my
we can
screen
see it.
here?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, cool. Then I'm going to get this out of the way here. All right. Perfect. Okay, so this is a random article. You could pretty much take anything on, but let's start from Google itself. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put in something here, what we want to search for. So let's do startup founder mistakes, right? We see a lot of them. So I'm going to try to avoid all of those. And so here you go, top mistakes of new startup founders by Forbes, 9 common startup mistakes. So these are ranking at the top. So if you were trying to rank for the keyword startup founder mistakes, you could probably learn a lot from these 5 organic results here. That's really what you want to do. Okay, there's no need to go read all of Google's patents like some of these SEO pros do. There's no need to try to become a search engine algorithm guru or anything. What you need to do is just study these 5 here. Now, I'm not going to use Forbes because they have some of it an unfair advantage. They've been around forever. They're massive. They probably have a deep domain authority of 99 or whatever, some crazy stuff. But who the hell is this clueless company? I have no clue. Okay, and no pun intended there. But let's go and open that one up. I don't know who that is, but they're in the ranking number 2 for what is a pretty decent keyword there. Okay, so if I'm in the startup world, I want to rank for that keyword, startup mistakes. And you can see they've done a great job overall from an SEO perspective. And I'll be quick about this, but if you have questions later, after we kind of go through the product, you can ask me all of this stuff. But you can see their URL contains startup mistakes, title contains startup mistakes, image probably is named correctly with some image SEO. There you go, common mistakes startup founders make. So it's all there. Nice little table of contents right at the beginning, and then good headings all the way through. I bet you all 9 items are neatly headed. There they are. So very good, and some FAQs and a conclusion. There you go. So overall, very good. The Chrome extension, I'll just use it right now. Here's what it would do. It would give me the on-page SEO for this page. And so when I look at that on-page SEO, I can learn a lot from it. Okay, so let's try to learn something from it. First and foremost, it's 1,789 words. So we don't expect a 700-word article to be at the top unless you're Forbes. But for this company, 1,789 words, pretty darn good. Okay, you can go look at all the robot metadata and whatnot. You can see they have 15 headings here. Okay, that's also good, very neat. The other thing that this tells me is their site is pretty well structured. They didn't use headings where they shouldn't have. You see a lot of misplaced headings on websites where they'll use H2s and H3s through in sidebars and underneath their content, whatever. You're just adding more grief to the bot, the spiders that come to your site. This is a nice, clean heading structure right here. Everything here is relevant to the body of the content. Nothing more, nothing less. That's perfect. So I'm glad I chose this one. Otherwise, it would have been a mess because you'd have to like remove 30 headings. So forth and so on. You can see some of the images are here as well. And you know, not too many images, so that's good. They're focused strictly on the image that counts, all the open graph data. So I'm not going to go through this. You guys have been through that. You can see some of the internal links here as well. There's a lot of internal linking happening on this page. Okay, now some of that's coming just from these internal links here, and then some of that's coming from the actual article itself. All right, no external links, which is weird. All right, but no big deal. And then we'll see if there are any broken links. It's thinking right now. So that's what you're going to get with the on-page SEO. I'm not going to talk about the contact info scraper, but basically it'll actually scrape the social profiles from this page as well and give you that for this website. But why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because these 15 headings are perfect. So what we did is we said, let's go ahead and emulate these headings to write our own article. And that's what the extension actually does. So if you click on the AI Writer, if you have the pro version of the extension, you'll have this third tab called the AI Writer. And this is a light version of what we're going to show today with the SEO Pilot SaaS. But you can see what it did is actually took those same headings and put them in a nice editable manner for you. So now you can drag and drop what you want, change it, edit it, delete it, do whatever you want to make it yours, make it your own. We don't want to copy these folks, but we definitely want to learn from them because they're ranking. And so we're going to go ahead, edit that, and then you can see there's only a few options here in step 2. You want a short, long article, some keywords, and the article tone, and generate article, and that gets sent to OpenAI to produce an article. There's only so far you can get, but it'll give you some good stuff. Not bad for a Chrome extension. But now let's take it to the next level. So if that's level 1, now let's go to level 5. Level 5 is the SaaS platform itself. So here I am in SEO Pilot. We just enabled today, by the way, for everybody to be able to get a free trial. So before we didn't have a free trial just because we're using, API keys here. But now we enabled a free trial so that you can produce a few articles just to see what you can do. So feel free to do that, but I'll walk you through this right now, and we'll go kind of step by step here. And so there's a few ways you can do the same thing here, and I'm going to talk through that. So if you look at all of these options, how did we come up with all of this? Well, what we did is we married all these other exceptional companies. So like I said, I want to give credit where it's due. There's some really cool products out there. There's namely, Koala, Pre-Draft, Machined, ZimWriter. These are great products. So we've learned a lot from them, but we wanted to do things our own way and keep it simple. The problem I saw with some of those other players is that they're complex. Just to get set up is complex. And so we wanted to avoid that right out of the gate. You have a SaaS, very basic interface. This is as much input as you're ever going to give us, is right here. And the idea here is you can always give us more input. We can always extract more, and then you can edit and remove the junk that you don't need. But this is what we're trying to do. And so let's go ahead and try to create an article here. Which one do we want to do? How about we just do the same one? We're trying to emulate that article. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna find that. Where was it? Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. So let's just do that one. All right. So one thing I could do here is first, by the way, select your model. Obviously, the higher the model, the better the content. But if you want 3.5, go right ahead. We always just use the highest model because at this point it's pocket change, right? If something can produce me a 1,500 word, 2,000 word, 2,500 word article for a few cents, I'm not going to be complaining. We have 2 types of articles. That's another thing I should note. We will not deviate outside of articles. So there are different types of articles, and we will focus on those one by one. Obviously you have your standard blog article, but then you have specific listicles. So we create a lot of listicles for ranking purposes. And so we want to kind of be the most advanced listicle generator out there as well. We were started with the blog articles, We're working on the listicles as we speak. It's already, starting to take shape pretty well. But let's go ahead and create the blog article. And I'm going to say, the most common startup mistakes founders make. Okay. And then I'm going to come in here and say startup mistakes, or yeah, that's fine. Startup mistakes, founder mistakes, just some target keywords. And so right now, why are we entering this? So you have your title, that's your H1 eventually. That tells the AI what we're writing about. The target keywords tells us what we want to rank for. Behind the scenes, we're actually using these keywords to drive a bunch of research. And you won't see it because, again, this is meant to be for the person who wants to create content for a money-making site. Like if you have a business, you're an agency provider, you are a SaaS product owner, affiliate marketer. You have a site that makes money. You want real content on it. You're not going to go plaster it with 5,000 articles. If you're doing that type of content, like mass content for the sake of, content velocity, I'll be honest with you, like ZimWriter and some of those others that are desktop apps or whatnot are better fit. We're more interested in the highest quality output with a focus on actually ranking. Okay, we're not guessing. We know what we want and we want to rank for that. So there are two buckets of people, right? And I've been on both sides. I've done both. I used to run a lot of affiliate marketing sites back in the day. And for those, we would spray and pray. That is not what SEO Pilot is made for. It's not for spray and pray. So it's not really something that I would want to compare to something like ZimWriter. But I would compare it to something like Koala and Pre-Draft. In fact, Pre-Draft and Koala are definitely, you'll see inspiration that we've taken from them. They're definitely great products, and we've kind of put our own unique twist on those type of products. So just being very forward, if someone's like, oh, I want to go publish 5,000 articles, you can even probably like just leave now. Okay, this is not the product for you. But if you just want to hear me talk, stay. All right. So here I'm going to go ahead and do that. I will keep this one short and just say, just give me a normal article, but I could go with long article. That's the other thing that's important here is we're designed for long form content. Okay. And as you saw when we did that on-page analysis, where was that? Right here?
Yep.
Right. And so you saw that earlier. It was, this article was, I think, 1,800 words. So now you know that you need roughly around there. You don't have to be exact. You need roughly around there to try to rank. The longer article means you can go ahead and maybe add more sections to it. Okay. So this is unique to us as well in that we can get as high as 3,000-4,000 word articles. Not a problem. You just have to give it a few more sections. Okay. And toggle a few sections on and off. I'm not going to touch the article tone. We just want SEO optimized content. That's probably going to be the default that most people want. If you want to go, play with it and see what AI provides once you start going down these other paths, go right ahead. But I'll be honest with you, we've toyed with this and AI takes a lot of the stuff literally. So be careful. So if you tell AI to be friendly, it may be too friendly for you. If you tell it to be humorous, it may try really hard to be funny. Okay, so we've optimized for this. Okay, language and country for me is English, so I'm not going to change that. There are 11 languages in here, I think 11, 5, 12, something around there.
Yeah, 11.
11, okay. And to the extent that OpenAI AI will support more, we will also add them into the platform. And I've already gotten requests for some some other languages. So I heard you. We'll try my best to work with the dev team to see how quickly we can add those. But let's also be upfront and honest, just like OpenAI is. It tells you straight up it's best in English. That's what OpenAI does best, right? But it definitely works for people in other languages. Point of view. Sometimes in articles, you'll see that it, especially when they don't apply a point of view, you'll see that the pronouns are incorrect. So we provide you that and say, hey, let's set that right here. And we're going to do all the prompt engineering behind the scenes to try to make sure that we try to use that type of language. So that's pretty important. Here's some magic here, is the outline source. So this is where it really gets hot and heavy for SEO Pilot. You won't find this even in other tools that I mentioned earlier. You may find one of these three sources, not all three. Okay, so let me explain all three to you, because this is the most important part right here. So definitely pay attention here. So we have three ways to create an outline. The outline really dictates the quality of the output. Okay, OpenAI does great stuff if you give it great stuff. If you give it terrible inputs, it's going to be all over the place. It's going to be scattered gibberish. So our whole goal is to give it a great outline. So earlier, I showed you how the Chrome extension helps you identify the outline for a top ranking post. So we want to emulate that. Okay, and we'll come back to that in a second. But the first option is a system generated outline. In other words, what you're saying is, look, I don't really feel like working right now. You do the work, you figure it out, and come up with a outline for me. So SEO Pilot will go ahead and figure out the outline for you, and just go produce the article. It's not going to let you like intervene with the outline at all. Then you can go down the route of doing a custom outline. Now you can see if when I select a custom outline, I all of a sudden got this new section where I can add in my headings. So I can add in my headings and say, oh, I want to write about, ABC, and then I want to write about DEF and whatever. I'm not going to write the items here, and so forth and so on. So if I were to go through this and actually add in all my sections, that will become the input basis for my article. So now you have that level of customization where you define the outline manually, and just give us the headings and the sections that you want. And of course, you can put as many as you like or as little as you want. It's up to you. And then of course you can edit these and reorder them so that everything is available to you. Basic CRUD, right? Create, read, update, delete. You can remove one if you need to, add it back. You get the idea. And so if you were going to do this, this is something that you have to consider. Do I want to feed it the outline? And then your third option is, and this is something others don't have, but because we started with SEO Pilot Chrome extension, we have this, is get the outline from a URL. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here and say, okay, just get the outline from the URL itself. And what you would do there is you would actually just feed it this URL and say, I want to do something like this. And this is like the secret sauce. You ain't going to find this in other apps, by the way. And even if you do, they don't do this. Okay. And so the idea here is I'm going to go grab that outline. And when I go do that, I'll get, look at that right there. Boom. Wow, that was quick. Okay. I thought I had to talk for 3 minutes while I did that. I don't. Apparently it's almost instant. There you go. Look at that. There's my outline. I already have it. So you see how beautifully it formatted everything for me. And now I can go ahead and edit this to make it my own and unique to, my site or whatever. I can go and reorder these as I want. I can delete the ones that don't make sense to me. Like, for example, this contact us came in here, delete, right? I'm not going to do the conclusion because I have a separate toggle for that down below. And I don't want that. And so, you know what? I'm also going to get rid of this. So there you go. I don't want the FAQ either. So there's my 9 items that I want. And this is sort of like an introduction. So I don't want that either. So there's my 9 items. So you saw how quickly I was able to generate an outline. So when we say, hey, you can produce like the entire month's content by the end of the day, you absolutely can do that. We've had people on our team like take it for a spin and they were able to produce 20, 30 articles by the end of the day. All right. Granted, we were doing it for testing purposes, but still, you can do that. And now you see the power of it is you just enter a top ranking article and you want to choose an organic result from the SERPs that has a very neat outline. Okay. That doesn't have a million other things going on inside of it. And then just clean it up to fit your needs. And once you do that, you're in business. Okay. And now let's go to the advanced settings. So actually, one more thing. So now that you know that we have 3 different ways to create an outline, okay? Other tools do not have that. So the system can generate an outline and it will do its own, back-end engineering to figure that out. You can provide your own custom outline, or you can extract an outline from a top ranking article, which is smart. Don't work too hard, right? Work smart. That's what we want to do. And so that's really what's going to happen here. Now I can go and say, okay, hey, I need a couple of sections here. Some people like to include an introduction, some people don't. Okay. By default, your introduction and conclusion is on, but you can turn it off if you like. I'm going to keep it on because I want more sections. I want to make this a little meaty. Table of contents at the beginning, I think you saw here, they also had somewhat of a table of contents right there. Let's go ahead and add a table of contents as well. FAQ at the bottom. I think you saw for this article. I think I really lucked out just randomly choosing this one because it basically has everything I wanted to show you guys. It has a FAQ at the bottom. I mean, nothing long. It's like two items, but whatever. Google loves this stuff. Include FAQ. Okay, so that's four sections that you just toggle on and off for every article, and you're in business. Okay, so very cool stuff. But go ahead.
One more point which I would like to add is if you use these 4 things, you're already ahead of 99% of the websites who are ranking on the first page or second page, because many of them don't have TOC or don't include FAQs. So if you're already doing that, it's just a button right there, just toggle, and you're ahead.
Correct. Absolutely. So then the other thing you want to look at is, hey, I need a featured image. So right now the selections are 4 options. I can get a stock image from Unsplash. I can get a stock image from Pexels, or I can get an AI generated image using DALL-E 3 or DALL-E 2. Okay. And so obviously DALL-E 2 and 3 will use your OpenAI key to generate the image, but it does some pretty cool stuff. So I like it. I use it. But if you just want a stock image, you could just get that from Unsplash or Pexels. Which one do you want me to select in this case?
Yep, let's go with
Unsplash. Any
Unsplash.
preference? Unsplash? All right. So if I go Unsplash, it'll automatically just go and use the title and the keywords to give Unsplash an input. Now, again, it's a stock image library. You may not always get what you want, but something's better than nothing at this point, right? So we could do that. If I had selected DALL-E 3 just to show you, it would now ask me for my prompt for DALL-E 3. So I could have said, startup founders embarrassed by mistakes. Now, you would think, well, how the hell is DALL-E going to figure that out? Like, how the hell is it going to create an image? DALL-E's pretty darn good. Okay, it'll figure out how to create an image for that. You know what? Well, let's use DALL-E. It'll take a little longer. It'll take a little longer.
Let's see what AI comes up with.
Let's just see what it does. Did I spell this wrong? Yeah, I did, of course. Yeah. All right. And now let me tell you about this other prompt that so this is where we let you get a little more creative. We don't want you to be prompt engineers. That's why we don't ask you to write prompts. For the image, hey, if you want to write a prompt for it, do it. Otherwise, we're just going to pass the keyword and our own term to DALL-E. But for this is an important section here. And it basically solves a lot of the questions and issues that some of you maybe mentioned, whether SEO Pilot had this feature or that feature, or can it do this or can it do that? Like, for example, I think Gabor, you had mentioned over IM to me, oh, that section's too long or too wordy or too, just a wall of text. This is where you would come and say, hey, I'd like to keep my paragraph short. Right? Or you'd provide a section level prompt. Now, this is not a global article level prompt. You do not need to tell it the way you talk in ChatGPT. You do not need to give it any more instructions. This is a section by section level prompt. So this extra section prompt will apply to these sections that you have outlined. Does that make sense, guys? I want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Yep, just type one in the chat box or yes, and we will know that. Come on.
Yep, just want to make sure everybody understands what a section level prompt means. It
Yep.
means what prompt do you want to add to each section of the body? That's all. Now, we'll probably exclude this. I think it's smart to exclude this prompt maybe from the introduction and conclusion, table of contents, like that type of stuff. So basically, I probably will ask the developers to exclude it from these four. But don't worry, I will, as we iterate and iterate, that's what development is. It's constant iteration and improvement. I will give you maybe a custom prompt that you can add just for the introduction or a conclusion, which will help you do whatever you want in those. Like, for example, I don't like in introductions and conclusions how AI typically replies with a lot of transitional phrases and just words that you're like, oh, in the ever-evolving landscape of SEO, like I can't stand that stuff. That doesn't sound human to me, right? So we'll actually be giving you a prompt to like tell AI not to use like that type of vocabulary. Okay, we don't have it yet, but it's already in development. So you'll see a few new options, what you see today over the next few weeks. That'll actually let you get a bit more micro in guiding this article generator. Okay, I'm not going to do any. Actually, you know what? Let's do avoid long paragraphs. You see. So I'm just telling it to avoid long paragraphs in my section prompt. That's it. That's my extra section prompt. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm not telling it how many words I want to write because that's a global level thing that we've already addressed. Focus only on, hey, what do I need to put? Now, in most cases, you probably don't need to put anything here. So just ignore this if you are just like, yo, I just want to do an article. And that's it. Then we have links. And so we just launched this recently. I'll call this truthfully, it's like our version 1. Okay. Is it where I want it to be? No, it's not where I want it to be. I want to get to the state of automatic linking, like automatic internal linking, automatic external linking. Again, that requires far more processing on the back end because it needs to know your sitemap. But right now we don't have that functionality. So we said, okay, well, at least give me something. Give me some way to link to something. And in this case, I guess I'm just going to try to link to rockethub.com. Now, technically, that's my own site. So you may be saying, hey, is that an internal link? Yeah, technically, that's an internal link. I can put any link I want in here. I can put Google if I want, right? In fact, let's go ahead and just put this link here.
Let's give them the credit.
Yeah, let's just give them credit where it's due, right? And say, link to there. Okay. And so that's an external link. That's an internal link. Again, any link you want. Okay. It's going to try to link to it. Okay. And the keyword there is try, because it doesn't always find a good place to actually sensibly link to this. Okay. But this is what we're going to be working on over the next month is, hey, how do we make this more advanced so that the links are truly keyword anchor links? They fit into the body as opposed to, a heading or something like that. Like we want to avoid all those mistakes that AI can make. And AI is not perfect. No matter how much prompt engineering you do, it'll sometimes make mistakes. But don't worry, we'll get there. That's the beauty of like iterations. So there we go. So I went ahead and filled this out. Now, obviously, I was explaining every field, whatnot, and you would be much faster than me. And now if I were to go generate this, that's what it's going to do. And it's going to take about 1 minute to 2 minutes. Okay. Now, what's happening behind the scenes is it's looking at the keywords. It's doing a little SERP research as well. It's creating that outline for you. It's structuring a prompt to send. Now, again, you can't just send one prompt to AI. So for those that don't know the backend engineering side of this, you can't just say, all right, I'm going to take all these inputs and just send it to AI. It doesn't work that way. You actually have to send in bits because there's a token size limit, meaning the request size limit, how much data you send to the API. There's a limit on that. And so we have to be, I guess you could say, just mindful of that limit and try to send a little bit, a little bit, a little bit at a time, get back what we want. And then it's going to go ahead and start generating that article and starting to stitch it together and, doing its best to clean it up. So that's what's happening right here. Like I said, it will take a minute or two. Sometimes it can take long if you have a very long article. So the longer the article, whether you've selected, you want an AI image, basically however many inputs you gave it is going to dictate how long it takes. So while we wait for this thing to
We
give
can
me
get to
some,
some
yeah,
questions
yeah,
in the
let's go ahead,
meanwhile while
Ice.
we are. All
Yeah.
right. So we have two questions from Chaitanya, who is we have him. He's a great guy. All right. Let's begin with the first question. And what are the competitive advantages over detailed.com?
Hmm.
Or
Our buddy Viper Chill. So yeah, so our buddy Viper Chill has, so Chaitanya is asking about another Chrome extension and what are the advantages over detailed. Detailed only gives you on-page SEO. So what does that mean? It means this. Earlier, if you're, and this question is specific to the extension, not the SaaS platform.
yeah.
Detailed only gives you this, Chaitanya. Okay, and even this, there's a few things detailed does not have. For example, one thing you probably didn't notice, you see this download button? That will download all the headings for you. So there you go. I just downloaded all the headings. You see? You can't do that in any of the tools. We checked. So this is unique only to SEO Pilot, right? This is one of our unique differentiators. So if we were competing only on on-page SEO Chrome extensions, we not only do everything Detail does or SEO Minion does or any of those other tools, we do more than them, way more. The second differentiator is that they don't have this contact info scraper. So we can scrape emails, as you can see right there. We just got the email to this clueless company. We can scrape social profiles right there. You got 5 social profiles. So now if you wanted to do backlink outreach, if you wanted to reach out to this blog and say, hey, could you include me in your roundup post or whatnot? Or, hey, I have some a submission for you to add to this post. I'd love to contribute to it or whatever. You have a way to contact them. You know their Facebook, you know their Twitter, you know their Instagram. You don't need to go searching for that. And again, you can also download this. So if you had a VA working on stuff like this, where they were doing backlink outreach, now the same extension helps them find the contact info. So if you were using a contact info scraper, a social profile extractor, a phone number extractor, that's 3 extensions you no longer need because SEO Pilot does that for you. And then the third thing that none of them have, which is next level, is obviously the fact that we have a light AI writer built into the extension itself. So yeah, there's no other Chrome extension. We've checked every single one, all 20 of them, that comes anywhere close to SEO Pilot. And that's not just me like kind of bragging about it. That's just by design, we made it that way. We wanted to give away a Chrome extension that had all of this. So hopefully that answered your question. Let's see if our article is done. Yes, it is. Do you want to do another question before I go through the article or no?
Yeah, you can. We can then have this section done. So this will be real quick. What's your opinion on using something like phrase for further optimizing the articles, or SEO Pilot is coming up with similar features?
Yeah, similar features. You see this sidebar on the right here that gives you the outline. In the future, you will see our own SEO Pilot score. You will have all that metadata that you are accustomed to maybe with some of these other tools. So now when I say in the future, is that next week? No, but that's the direction we're headed this year, is that once we master the ability to produce SEO optimized articles, give you everything that you need, the next step is, okay, how do we analyze the article that just came in? Okay, so let's analyze this article since we're now on this topic. Okay, so let's be critical of our own work here. Okay, so what do you see here? First off, date and all, the word count. We got a 2,469 word article. That's great. Okay, and we also try to be very forthcoming and make sure you have all the info. How much are you spending on this? And so what we do is we guesstimate how much you're spending, just because OpenAI tries to make this so complicated to calculate the costs. We take the OpenAI pricing and we calculate a cost for you and say, this is how many tokens we used. Based on those number of tokens, this is how much it's costing. Okay, so that probably answers a few other questions for people that asked, hey, how come I can't get like 100 articles for free? Well, just do the math, right? If we gave you 100 articles for free every month, times that, that's how much it's costing us just to give you free articles. And you can see the engineering behind the scenes here costs way more than the 33 cents here that we're talking about, right? So that's why. So we have your H1, which is the title. We got the image from Dolly. As you can see here, a bunch of shocked, there you go, bunch of shocked startup founders. And they look like startup founders, ripped jeans and all.
Startup
Yeah,
guys.
ripped jeans and print t-shirts, so perfect. Then we have our body. And so remember, we asked for a table of contents. We got our table of contents. Then we had given it very specific guidance, right? We had said, I want this article to have these specific sections. And you can see it did that. It gave me exactly those 9 sections I had asked for, okay? Now, there's a few things I already see I don't like, which I'm going to talk about. But again, these are things we'll solve. And you can see them. I'm sure some of you can spot check them right now. But here's the cool thing. We also had asked for a link. Here's a link right there. Startup founders. That's perfect. I'm actually surprised. Okay. Not too impressed with this best software link, but definitely impressed with the startup founder. So something area for improvement for us, and like, hey, how do we ensure we really, really get? Now, one way we probably do that is maybe ask for anchor keywords. What anchor keywords do we?
Yep, give them just the
Yep.
instructions and
Yep. But without doing anything else, this is what it did, and it did like a pretty darn good job. So I like that. Very good job. You could see it also bolded certain words, you see? Again, AI sometimes goes off on its own, but it bolded it in that section, but not the other sections, which is weird, right? But overall, you have a 2,500 word article that hits at home for the topic that you wanted. Here's one thing I don't like, which you could see that we gave it an extra prompt of saying, hey, I want you to break up the paragraphs into short paragraphs, but it gave me this body wall of text. Okay. So I think I think our engineers know how to fix this, because we were talking about this in a meeting earlier this morning. So I think they know how to fix this. So it probably won't happen as much in the future, but just calling it out that I wouldn't want this, so I would want to break this up. And so what I would do, and here's the other thing that's beautiful about SEO Pilot. This is an editor, meaning I could come right here and edit it myself. I don't have to go take it anywhere. So there it is. I'm editing as we speak. And now I've edited it. I can do that for anything. If I want to go and bold, I don't know, extensive research, I'm just making this up. I can go ahead and bold that, right? I can italicize whatever I want. So this is a baked-in editor for your final content. So you can go and do anything you want in here. And there's the FAQ at the bottom, by the way, last 3 items. There you go. So you have pretty much everything that you needed for the article. And so now what we want to do is tell you what's going to be coming in the future inside of this editor. So inside of this editor, our goal is that you'll be able to put your cursor wherever you want and replace this paragraph, for example. So I'll be able to select this, and a little toolbar will come up that'll say replace paragraph, or write a new paragraph, or rewrite, or whatever. That's one action you'll be able to take. Another action you'll be able to take is you'll be able to put your cursor here and say insert an image here. And we'll go grab an image, the same image kind of flow you saw earlier with Unsplash or Pexels or AI image through DALL-E. You'll just be able to give us a prompt, And now we'll go grab it and place it right in there. So you can basically edit within this editor in the near future, all the actions you need to take to make it perfect for you. Okay. And earlier the question someone asked about, are we going down the path of phrase and like giving more SEO metric data? That will be available right here at the top, as soon as that is ready. Okay. So now your whole editor will be pretty darn advanced. You'll be able to get content real quick. And now let's talk about some of the actions you can take here. So right now I can export this. So let's say I don't need to work in here. I can just copy the rich text copied, and I can just open up a blank Google Doc or something. Let me open up a blank Google Doc. Bear with me. So here's a blank Google Doc, and I could paste it. And you can see it kept all the formatting. You see?
Oh, that's very important. Otherwise,
Yeah.
if formatting isn't in place
Yeah.
every single time.
So copy and paste right into Google Doc or WordPress if you like. The other thing you can do is copy the HTML. So certain platforms, other CMSs, maybe that rich text doesn't work or whatever because of however they're designed. You just copy the HTML. And lastly, you can download the HTML as well. So I just downloaded the HTML. So now I have that in my, and then you can see I just opened the HTML right there, my HTML file, sorry. HTML file. Trying to scroll down. There we go. There's the HTML. So you have 3 ways to basically export content. Well, 4 ways, right? The 4th way is you can just publish to WordPress. So we baked in automatic one-click publishing to WordPress. And so did I connect it? I don't know. Let me check. Maybe not. I didn't connect it, but let me show you how to connect it. So I'm going to save my changes here. All right. So that article is done. Let me show you a few other things that are kind of differentiators between us and other apps. First and foremost, you notice that my current workspace is just my default workspace. Everybody starts with the default workspace. Okay. I can switch between workspaces. So the idea here is I can go in here and create a new workspace. Nobody else does that. They don't give you that separation for clients or sites or projects or whatever you're doing. If you're running an agency, you may be using SEO Pilot for 10, 20 clients. We want you to. Well, then set up a workspace for each of them so that you can keep the content separated as well. Okay. This will also be important as we iterate and make each workspace have its own unique background context. So for example, if I'm a Rocket Hub, let's just use Rocket Hub as an example. I run Rocket Hub. Rocket Hub, provides software deals, lifetime deals, things of that nature. We're basically for startups. We're a startup for startups. I could have some background context that talks about that, talks about the services we offer, things like that. And that'll be the background context for this workspace. So that later in life, when we get to the next iteration, when you start writing an article, it already knows that. It knows that for this site, this is the background context. You don't need to rewrite it. Okay. And we'll provide that, like, we'll call it a brand, brand info, brand context, background context, or something like that. So that's why workspaces are important. It lets you separate projects or clients, separate sites. Every workspace can have connected sites. Okay. Same thing with teams. We allow you to invite team members based on the plan that you're on. So invite, however many you can. But yeah, this is very important. And then you have easy ability to switch to workspaces. The other tools do not have that. So when someone asks me, well, what's so different? The only thing that's similar right now is the create article process. But even that is vastly different behind the scenes, as you just saw. Then comes the integrations. So I didn't connect a WordPress site yet, but here's how you would connect it. You would just put in your WordPress URL. I don't have a dummy site right now, so I'm not going to go through it here, but we have a video instruction. But let's just say I had, domain.com. You would just create what's called a WordPress app password, and you would put in your username and the app password, click submit, and that's it. Then after that, you will be able to take that article and just click publish to WordPress and make it go to WordPress. We are currently working on schedule to WordPress. So instead of having to click this right now and it just publishes right this instance at 11:58 a.m. where I am, you'll be able to schedule it, which means now you'll have scheduling functionality. Again, something the others don't have. So the other tools are great at either keyword research or clusters, or they're great at, hey, I'm going to give you a lot of input options to produce an article. But that's about it. Everything ends there. We're trying to complete the entire workflow. I want you to be able to ideate, come up with the ideas for keywords right from SEO Pilot. I want you to be able to generate the outlines,
Image.
create the image, all of that, and then schedule or publish it to WordPress, and you'll never leave SEO Pilot the entire time. So that's the goal by the end of this year, is that you don't leave SEO Pilot, you just keep publishing, right? And you're publishing good content, and it just gets better and better over time.
Looks like we got a
there are-
new, tagline. Never give
yeah,
SEO.
never leave SEO Pilot. Exactly. That's the idea. Let's see. And let me see another thing. Okay, let me show you something else that's cool. That's a unique differentiator for us. Earlier, I mentioned we're working on what we term our listicle genius. Okay, it's not genius level yet, but that's what it's going to be. And so you notice that what we just did is a blog article. Right? The next thing we're working on is a listicle. And when you select listicle, the options change. Now, nobody else does listicles in the manner that I'm showing you right now. To other AI tools, they'll have a listicle value, or they'll say, oh, we could do an Amazon listicle, or we could do this type of listicle. All that's happening is on the back end, they're saying, I want a listicle article. That's the prompt. Okay. That's not good enough for what we're trying to do. If you think about it, anytime you go into Google, so again, go back to the SEO world. Anytime you go into Google, actually, this is once again a perfect scenario. We had typed in startup founder mistakes. We were not looking for a listicle article. But notice, these are technically listicles. 9 common startup mistakes, 20 mistakes, 5 early mistakes, 5 common mistakes. They're all listicles, right? Also think software. So if I were to say best video software, okay? Notice they're all become listicles after a while, right? The organic listings, they're all going to be like, oh, top 10, take out Adobe and Reddits and all of that. We don't want that. Why is it not giving me great organic results? I want organic results. All right, here we go. So there you go. Even the ad is a listicle here. Best video editing software for beginners in 2024. 18 best easy to use video editing software. So these are all listicles. Anytime you see a number inside of the article, essentially that's a listicle. That's how we view it. Okay, so whether you're writing for software, whether you're writing for tips and tricks and whatever, listicles rank. Okay, Google just loves listicles. So they shouldn't be an afterthought. To us, it's a whole different type of prompt engineering required for a listicle. And we're going to go real deep into this because no one else has. So here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and, just show you the kind of the basic version of listicles, and then we can go into, I guess, the what's coming down the pipe. Okay. I'm trying to think of an idea here. Copy writing. Okay, let's do 4 best copywriting frameworks. All right, for all you writers out there. Okay, we'll do copywriting framework as my keyword. Okay, and we'll do Ada. Okay, and I want, since it's just 4, I'm going to just select normal. I'm going to skip a lot of this and go straight to the listicle part that's different. Notice here, this is what's different. You now have a whole new section for the listicle items. When you produce a listicle, typically I'm assigning it to a content writer, or I'm assigning to a VA and saying, hey, can you give me a listicle of the 5 best this or 7 best this, top tools, the top this? I'm already telling them what the top tools are. I don't want AI to go try to figure this out or guess. I know what it is. I know what I want to write about. So why are we trying to let AI like give us gibberish that doesn't make any sense? Let's just tell it what we want. So in this case, you have listicle items, and I'm going to create, okay, add a listicle. And all of a sudden you see it's very different than blog when I selected a blog post, right? And what you're doing here is you're actually adding your listicle items. And so in this case, what was my title? Copywriting frameworks. All right. So for anybody that knows copywriting frameworks, you have ADA, all right, which
Yes.
is attention, interest,
It,
desire, action. Okay. And now I can even give a link. This is a URL to link to. And so if I were to just find a link to ADA framework, let's just say I wanted to link it to something. Here we go. I'm just going to link it to that right there. And back to my article, I'm going to say, like, hey, I want you to link this to that. So now if you were doing a listicle on CRMs, like Salesforce, you would just give it sales. You would say Salesforce here in the title, and you would say link it to salesforce.com. And then HubSpot, you would link to HubSpot.com. And I don't know, Upscale, you would link to upscale.com and whatever. So I'm going to go and say this, I'm going to go and say, let's do past
yes.
problem, agitation. You have another one for me? Let's see. Let's do pass framework writing. I'm just trying to get a URL. Here we go. Okay, got another URL. Boom. Also, you notice that because of the listicle, you know how listicles are structured usually, and let's find one here. Let's actually find a listicle. Here's one. You see how the listicle has an image, a title, obviously a link, and then it usually has a description, and then like a bunch of pros, cons, and what I'll call listicle meta items, okay, metadata. And then the next one has the same thing. The listicles tend to follow a structure, okay? And the structure, if you at its most basic level, is always image, title, link, paragraph. Image, title, link, paragraph. Image, title, link, paragraph. You can get a little bit now, go to like level 2 of that, which is image, title, link, paragraph, bullet points, pros and cons, right? Parameters, listicle parameters, like what parameters are you comparing or measuring for each item? But that's basically the structure of all listicles. Trust me on this. You can go all over Google, look at all the listicles. That's the structure. So we come down here, and that's what I'm actually trying to do here. This is version 1, but I said, hey, every listicle for me, sometimes for every listicle item I want an image associated with that listicle. And so what'll happen probably later this week, next week actually, because it's already Thursday, is I will let you put an image URL of which image do you want affiliated with that listicle item. So for example, if I was doing this, let's just grab an image, guys, because I want you to, I really want you to like understand this. And because this is very unique differentiator type stuff that people need to realize that we are not the same as these other AI writing tools. Same thing with pass, problem agitation. Let's find an image and say we want that image. And what's another framework? Okay, BAB. Yeah, again, these are just sections. Let's find BAB. Let's find an image. Okay, and I use that one. Very nice image. Kudos to whoever created it. And I hope this works. Okay. Oh, sorry, I put it in the wrong place. And I'm just going to say it's Google for now. instead of searching for another one. Okay, so now you can see, or sorry, Bab copywriting is a better. Okay, so you can see I created 3. I could go on and on. I could create 20 guys, but this is getting a little long, this webinar, so I don't want to hold you all day. You got work to do. So these are the 3 items. And so now you can see the logic that we're trying to implement here. I'm letting you use image URL. In the future, we will let you actually use the AI prompt to generate an image for each listicle item. Okay. And then also in the future, when you give us this URL, we'll actually go and try to scrape the web to get some research done so that we're truly talking about that topic or that product. Okay. And so that's really what we're going to be doing with listicles, is that we will be able to create listicles that are properly structured so that you don't have to do any of that formatting later. It's all going to come out right. And again, same thing as usual. The rest of the settings are still here. There's one additional setting that you see here, number each listicle item. So some people like to see the 1, 2, 3. Some people don't. In this case, it doesn't really make sense. So I'm not going to use the 1, 2, 3. But if you wanted to, you just turn it on. Okay. And so blah, blah, blah. And now I'm just going to say, all right, Dolly, give me some copywriting framework. Sheen, I don't know. And so I'll go create article. And so this is what the team's working on right now. But I want to show you something while that's processing, because that's going to take a little while. I want to show you, when we look at listicles, where's my search? We were just looking at search results. There we go. And so we go back to Google and let's find another listicle like best CRM for hair salons, really niche. Okay. And so get away from all these directories. I want to just go to an organic listing here.
There you had Zoho on the top.
How about this right here? 5 best.
Okay,
That's a
that's the
listicle.
listicle.
Yep. His site is not working very well. Let's give him. Nope, his site sucks. All right,
And
next.
it's ranking on the first page.
Yeah, he is ranking. He needs to update it. Did I miss something? I just want a listicle. Everybody's just writing about their own software as opposed to doing a listicle on it. But hey, that's a good topic for some of you guys to do.
Yeah, the 14 best salon software options there.
Oh yeah, I should have chosen that. Yeah, because this is talking about himself. 14 best. That's better. Yeah, small business trends. They always do good listicles. Okay. Oh, good Lord, ads everywhere. Killing me. What the hell? Oh, come on. Just don't do this on your site, please. Okay. This is how you kill the experience. But you can see what they're doing with the listicles. This is what I wanted to show you. 14 best, you have number 1, Fresha, with an image. Stupid ad. And then it is a paragraph or 2. And notice the link is the first word of the name of the product, and it's the first word. Sometimes it's down here, sometimes it's in the middle, but as long as it's linked somewhere in there, that's kind of what you're looking to obtain. But if this was the structure of a listicle, as you can see, right, you have your name or title, you have your link, you have your image, and you have your paragraph. They're all the same all over the internet. It's all the same. The key is to get that image and whatnot. One of the things we're working on to get that image is if you tell us, we'll actually go scrape or and do a web shot of that website. So you end up with an image like that. That's one of the things we're working on behind the scenes. So now you don't have to go have your VA or you go do 20 screenshots. We're just going to go do them for you. And that'll be the image that we put. And so here's the 4 best copywriting frameworks. So that's done. And here you go. You see? ADA, linked, image, paragraphs. Problem, agitation, solution, image. So again, structure version 1 here is what we're going for. And there you go. Everything's done. So we got our article, and that's your listicle. 1160 words. Perfect. I'll take it. So next level will be, hey, if I give you a website, instead of this image that I had to provide you, instead, can you get me a screenshot of the home page or whatever page I give you, just screenshot the visible area. Okay, I'm going to stop here because I've been talking your heads off, but I haven't let anybody like ask questions, and hopefully you guys have understood everything I just said.
Cool. That's amazing. I think it's pretty deep. And the difference is when people say it's just an AI writing stuff. No, it's not. When you go in deep and you just start creating articles, I think this goes a lot deeper than you think. The rest of the apps might be are operating on a surface level. They might even stop developing going down the road, But I think here it's kind of you're thinking from the user's perspective, so that's different. So if folks have any questions, just drop in the Q&A box, and we'll start taking it. Let me also read some comments as to what people are saying. Okay, so Gabor had something regarding the using exact match keywords in the blog article URLs and asking ChatGPT to use the part of the URL after blog as the anchor text. So which means you can just use the slug as the anchor text and add it in one of the articles or one of the body texts. That way, then I think internal linking is possible. So I think that's a good use case if you can give it to.
Yeah, that's a good way to come up with anchor keywords for sure. Here's the only constraint there. And it's not really a app constraint. It's more an OpenAI constraint. It does not always listen. So even if you tell it, oh, I want you to use this slug at the end, and let's say the slug is, best CRM for hair salon. The problem with AI is that it will try. So again, it's always a try. It will try to incorporate that. But if that is not incorporated inside of the article or whatnot, it'll skip it.
Yep.
And in this, so we need to have a fallback solution, which is don't skip it. I still want you to link to something. Right. But yeah, you got the right idea. And Gabor definitely knows these tools because that type of question is a very advanced question.
Yep. Okay, Chaitanya has a question about team members and users are different or same terms. You meant same teams?
Yeah, it means the same thing. Yeah, they're
That's what you meant.
interchangeable.
I think team members and users. Yeah.
Team member users means the same thing.
Got it. Yep. So they're just users. You just need to add anyone. You can go ahead and add them to SEO Pilot. All right. Okay, so there's an appreciation from Lewis. He says, great overview, very feature rich, and the roadmap looks promising. He pays hundreds of dollars today monthly for a similar solution. So which means if you
we're saving
go
you
and
money
get it for lifetime, it's a steal. We'll money.
See? And I think this is one of the things, not just for this LTD for SEO Pilot. So let's put SEO Pilot aside for a second. That statement right there applies to a lot of LTDs out there, not our own, but all these other deal partners, whether they're on Rocket Hub or not, it could be any of the other platforms. The coolest thing about lifetime deals, if you are understanding that it is a iterative process, if you can get the most value out of them, you can usually recoup your funds within 2 months, right? Now, obviously, you want to pick and choose the right founders, right, and right people to buy from. That's a given. But I find that even software I buy, and I have 700 LTDs, by the way, guys, I can typically recoup. The reason I can justify all that, I can typically recoup my funds within 3 months from that software. Or sometimes with one use, I can recoup my funds. So I'm usually not worried about paying a one-time fee. But then again, I also love technology and I love the process of, what founders and developers go through to try to build this type of stuff. Because, this webinar probably makes it seem like, oh, wow, you could do all this. What you don't see is the behind the scenes of me yelling and kicking and screaming at all the developers and, all the testers and whatnot. And it's brutal, right? It's brutal back there. So you don't get to see that. You don't get to see that journey from, the frustrating part of things just to get to this level. And I think that's, again, maybe that's just my passion coming out about the, software development in general, or SaaS founders in general. But yeah, I think that statement is awesome. And heck, give me, post that online so others can see it. All right. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yep. I've just taken a screenshot. I think yours, I'll give you a credit about it. I mean, wherever you are on Facebook or wherever, just get me know, and we can then say, hey, so this is the ultimate truth, right? Good. Cool. Okay, so Gabor had another comment. He says, I've tested it today. I've tested it today, this internal links thing with long form blog, Cyborg. It wrote my article, then I provided him 5 internal URLs and asked him to use the slugs as anchor text and spread it through the article, and it makes it perfectly. So I'm sure you can implement it too, because internal link slugs are mostly keywords if it's made by SEO or content experts.
Yep. Yeah. Here's what I could tell you. Pretty much anything others can do, my team can do. I have no doubt about that.
And we've
It's all
already
a
done
matter
it.
of how,
It's like already done it much better than
I have no doubt my team can handle that. So credit where it's due. I'm probably the you could say the architect behind what it is we need, and trying to make sure we balance it out as to, okay, how valuable is this? How much processing time does it add? How much cost does it add? Things like that. But in terms of, can it be done? Absolutely. If someone else is doing it, we'll figure it out. We know how to do it. As far as where it falls on the timeline, I think our roadmap right now, let me show you guys. One of the things we didn't even talk about is that roadmap. So here's a roadmap, guys. Here's what we're trying to work on right now. Speed matters in this game, and a balancing act matters. So you notice that we tried to be very, very very basic, almost childish with our create article screen, right? That's by design. We wanted to keep it simple, not give you, 500 options, even though we probably could. We want to keep it super simple so that you get the 80-90% of what you need. And then, of course, there should always be some sort of sanity check and editorial process when you before you push this. Now, if you're doing it for an affiliate marketing site and you're like, hey, 80-90% is perfect for me, go right ahead, blast away, all right, publish away. But if you're doing it for your money sites, obviously there's an editorial process of another 10-20 minutes where you probably want to like fix a few things and add this and add an image, maybe do this and that. And so we just want to be balanced. We don't want to go to the point that we are the app for the uber tech nerd, because then we'll, kind of make everybody else shy away. But we also don't want to be so featureless that people are like, well, I can do this with 95 other tools. All right. Our goal is, not to be on LTD for a long time, obviously. As the person before Lewis mentioned, we could sell this for, MRR is not a problem for us. We're marketers. We'll figure this out. We know people that need this. They'll pay for it. Right now, they'll get the LTD because it's available. But as soon as the LTD is not available, it's straight to MRR. That's the goal. And we know that our competitors are doing just fine. And since we can do everything they can do, plus have 5 to 10 differentiators that you just saw today, I think we can get some people to switch over. Now, roadmap wise, one of the things we're working on is the keyword research part that I told you about. So a few other tools, they started their process, their thought process from keywords first, coming up with the ideas, coming up with the keywords, what you want to rank for, then coming up with the idea for the article or the article suggestion. Then it goes in and just writes it. No outline, none of that. Like no like real ability to edit your outline or have 3 ways to come up with an outline like SEO Pilot does. So they followed that path. Our path was kind of the reverse. We said, look, get me the great article first, then I'll go and help you with the keyword research and whatever. I'll work on that later. So that's why you see on the screen here, keyword research, our initial version is going to be coming out. We think we could probably bang it out by the end of February. So this month, we think we can get a version 1 to you. So like I said, this is for real sites, right? If you were just spraying and praying 5,000 articles on a random site, you don't really care about keywords. You're just doing your best. But for your real site, you do care about keywords, you do care about clusters and content clusters and things like that. And so we will be working on that and getting our initial version out for that before the end of February. So that's really a big thing that you should watch out for. I mentioned also the listicle content. I really want that to be one of our unique differentiators. So we're going to take it to the next level. You saw version 1 of it. Version 2 of it will actually allow you to add parameters so that your listicle has the pros and cons for each item, things like that. So that's like really cool advanced stuff that nobody else does. You will get that key takeaway section. We're working on that. We just want to make sure it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. Okay, that's the only reason we haven't done it. We need to optimize images faster. Here's some of the future considerations, which some things are already like, we are definitely doing it. So let me tell you what we are definitely doing. The bulk article writer, 5 at a time. Why? Our competitor has 5 at a time. That's why. So if I got to compete with someone else after the LTD, I have to have the same. So that's why we're doing that. Do I think you need 5 at a time? No, because as you saw, it was fairly decent, like fairly quick how we were able to produce an article. So you could produce 5 of those, just one after another. But if you really want to, sure, you can go ahead and give us 5 or 10, and we'll give a GUI, a user interface, to say, just write all 5 of these behind the scenes in the cron job or whatnot. Post scheduling, like I said, we want to be the end-to-end workflow. You don't want to click publish to WordPress in the middle of the night because you don't want to publish in the middle of the night. You want to publish at 9 a.m. We get that. So we'll give you that. This is important to me, maybe not to you guys, but I want it, which is the idea library. Sometimes I'll come up with ideas, and up to now, I've been putting them in Asana, my project management tool, and just listing them. Now I can just use SEO Pilot. So we're going to give you a way to just it's like, hey, here's an idea for an article that I want to write. Cool, just add it. Oh, you did some keyword analysis? Add these to the content idea list. You don't need to generate those articles or anything just yet. Just put them in the queue as your idea library. So we're going to create something like that, so that for every site that you manage, for example, you can have all your ideas of this is, hey, well, this is what we need to write. This is a high priority or medium or low. And then someone can come in and just start banging those out. So those are definitely going to happen. There's no like ifs, ands, or buts about that. And then some of the smaller items, as you saw, references and citations, that's about the only thing I saw that we didn't have that one of our notable competitors did. But we don't have it, not because we can't do it. We just haven't gotten around to it. In fact, I think I've even seen a version 1 of it. So it'll come for sure. Automatic internal linking and external linking. I don't know how far I want to go into getting into the complexity of ingesting a sitemap of another site. Okay. Seems like it would help a ton, but also seems like, wow, that's going to be real process heavy. That could get real, messy. Okay. And so we're on the fence about it. Let us see what our user base as a whole thinks of that. Not many people have asked for it until now. That's why I just put consider there. New article type, Amazon product listicle. Again, not many people have asked for it, so I'm not going to sign up for that. Additional languages for sure. If OpenAI supports it, we want to support it. And the last thing I'll tell you, for me, the other type of content output, SEO content output, that's very useful for an agency owner, for an SEO professional, for a content writer, that is hard to do, is landing page copy. So landing page copy, like conversion focused copywriting, for a landing page. Like you want to sell something, you want to sell a course. You see those long form pages of like, trying to sell you a course or, an ebook or whatever. That is the direction that I want to go with our third content type. I don't give a damn about Amazon product descriptions. Let somebody else do that. Okay. That's not us. That's not SEO Pilot. We're going to work on the stuff that actually like costs thousands of dollars. Right. And so just being honest with you, that's what I want because it saves us thousands of dollars. An Amazon product description, ChatGPT can give you that. Okay. Let's be honest. Okay. You don't need SEO Pilot for that. So I study copywriting frameworks. I write a lot of, landing pages. So I have some ideas of how to emulate the top copywriters and help you produce long form landing page copy that, that ranks, but also converts. Probably more important is converts because most of them aren't really for ranking purposes. It's really for converting to sales. If I could do just those three things, standard blog articles, very advanced listicles with like the structure ready for you so you don't have to waste more time. And number three, landing page copy. That to me is, la la land for SEO Pilot. We don't need more than that. That's what we want to be. That's it. So if someone's like, oh, can you go do social captions? And no, the answer is no. I'm going to tell you the truth right now. We're not going to go do that. Okay. So based on everything I just said, any last questions?
Yep. We have people getting hyped up. So let me get on and we can like finish these quickly.
Mhm.
From Chaitanya asked the question: are the features like keyword research will be included in the LTD?
Yes. Keyword. So let me tell you the two or three features. I honestly don't know how to handle LTD buyers. So I'm just going to tell you the truth. But by default, the way I treat LTD buyers is I'm going to give you everything. Now, if it's going to cost us an arm and a leg, I obviously have to limit it. I have to give you some number of credits or something, but I want you to be able to use everything. Okay. But so specifically to Chaitanya's question about keyword research, yes, that everybody's going to get that. Okay.
Awesome.
But let me point out two things that are the
Sure.
things that I don't know much about. Web scraping. Okay. If you give someone unlimited articles and then they try to like scrape 20 or 20 pages for each article, the system's not going to like, at some point it's going to cost us more than that person ever paid us. Right. So now I don't know how much people are going to use. I don't know how much it's going to cost us because we haven't done this long enough to have that benchmark. So I'm just putting that out there right now. Like if the costs for web scraping are just extensive, we'll have to limit how many times we can web scrape something for you because that requires proxies, that requires other servers that we have to dedicate just for scraping purposes, right? That is not even SEO Pilot servers. That's extra servers for scraping. So that's one example. Number two, probably not as worried about it, but I'm always thinking about like, hey, let's just be honest with our community. Storage. You start producing hundreds of articles with images everywhere. Now all of a sudden storage becomes a cost factor for us. Right now, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal, but if it does, let's just all acknowledge together, buyer and platform owner, we will have to implement some fair use policy or get creative. For example, we'll get creative where we'll say, hey, by the way, after a year, if you haven't touched that article, we're going to delete the images. Right? So, but please back them up. Something of that sort. Right. And I think that's fair.
Correct. Yep. So bottom line is go ahead and use SEO Pilot as much as you can, but don't leave everything, untouched. So otherwise you'll be
Yeah. Yeah, don't be a jerk. And don't be an abuser. But otherwise, we want you to use it. Like, like
Yeah.
the more you use it and the more you like hopefully break it, that's something you won't hear every day. The more you break it, the more my team learns from that and can improve upon it. So tell us, right?
Yep.
Right
Yep.
now, you guys are some of the first people to get access to this, get to be able to use this. So tell us as much as you can. I'd rather work with you to fix it then you just abandon ship.
Mhm. Perfect. All right. Yeah, that's a great thing. I think no founder from any of the SEO tools has said you that, so go ahead and do that. Okay. So we have a question from Joe. We have two questions from Joe, from Loudegg. What's the max amount of target keywords in input someone can add? Is there a limit?
So at the moment, we haven't limited it because when we watch people do this, they usually only enter like 1 or 2 keywords.
Hmm.
Our goal is that we probably should target every article to just 1 keyword. Like, what are you really trying to rank for? So that what behind the scenes, when we do the engineering and the SERP analysis, we can really focus on that keyword and say, okay, how do we help this person rank for this keyword? Here's all the research, ingest all that research, ingest the SERP data, and now write the article. That's my, I guess, thought behind that. I definitely don't want them giving us 10 keywords because
Yeah.
that's
Otherwise,
that's not what you should be doing.
there's no focus keyword
Yeah.
left.
Right. Now, could there be keywords that I want to use as anchor keywords that are just more in the light of like, hey, these are for context purposes? Yes, give me 5, 10 of those, no problem. I'll take them all day. But I think you need 1 keyword that you actually want to rank for.
Correct. So just like, I mean, if you have used Yoast, when you go and optimize an article for titles, you just see a focus keyword, space available. Just add 1 keyword there and automatically for Yoast knows that you want to rank for that keyword. Likewise, if you want to rank for 1 keyword, which eventually you would aim for to get in the first page, make sure you just add that one and go forward with it. That will give you more. And I think you're already publishing to WordPress, so that 1 keyword might be helpful to you.
Yep.
Right. Good. So there's one more question from Joe. In brackets, he writes keywords input for the AI writer. I like to pre-optimize in other tools at times. Um, so I don't know what that means, but I think he's saying something, a statement. So um,
Okay.
yeah,
Uh,
that's what I
yeah.
meant.
Okay. If I understand what Joe's saying, I think he's saying keywords input for the AI writer. Okay. Um, if I think he's saying that he uses another tool from he said it right there, Quora or
Sora,
Surfer,
Surfer,
to
yeah.
collect keywords, and that's perfectly fine. Yeah, no problem. So if you want to use that tool and then come back to SEO Pilot, plug it in, and then go through the entire workflow, I think that would work just fine. Um, what I would like to do, the balancing act would really be if you think about what keywords are you getting from Surfer, what keywords are you getting from Quora or any of these other tools, why would SEO Pilot not be able to generate that, even if I could do 80% as just as good as them? I know their specialty is that, but if I can get 80% of the way there, I can eliminate that whole step for you. So what I would ask for then is, um, hey, let me see that flow. And when we're doing our keyword research tool, and we're giving you like keyword suggestions, we could potentially try to incorporate some of that learning in the process and say, all right, how close are we to the output of competitor A or B versus SEO Pilot? And now let's get our users to roughly the same spot. But the idea is I'd much rather you not have to use any other tool to just get
Mm.
content produced.
Never leave the SEO pilot. Remember,
Yep.
that's
Never leave
the
SEO Pilot.
foundation.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so there's a question from Tom. He asks, will there be a buy now, there be a buy now button for Amazon affiliate content? So that's like the whole structure. You have the buy now button with the link
Yeah.
for SEO Pilot.
Yeah. So this is so earlier when I mentioned like I'm not
Amazon
as
stuff.
thrilled. Yeah, I'm not as thrilled about the Amazon product listing world. The listicle side of it, I could see how it fits perfectly neatly into that because you could have top 10 products and then link them to Amazon. And of course, the key there is can we bake in the automatic Amazon affiliate link and buy now button? The answer to that is yes, we can do that. And I think the way we'd probably do that is in the integrations or settings area, you would give us the affiliate, link or ID that you have for Amazon. And then behind the scenes, if you give us just a keyword, we'd have to search. And this is where like scraping comes into play. You'd have to search Amazon to find a product and then go get that product. To the extent we can do that, yes, we'll be able to just say, all right, grab these 10 products based on the keywords Tom provided, and use his affiliate ID to link to them. Now he's in business and he can produce those all day long. Uh, I myself am not an Amazon affiliate, so I haven't done that, I'll be honest with you. But I've seen other apps do it. I understand the logic behind it. And our listicles, like I said, I want to be the most advanced listicle generator out there. And that fits into that scope. So short answer is yes. Long answer is we do need to learn to do that because that's one thing we've never done with Amazon.
Correct. And of course, Amazon stuff keeps changing every time. So, if they make any changes, then we have to do it at our end
Yeah,
as well. So that's like
exactly.
work, but yeah, can be done. Okay, so Gabor has, we'll go through Gabor's 2, 3 comments and then we will wrap it up for people. And we give it just an ending statement so you know what to do next after this webinar. So Gabor says about the SEO tools. So he says, I use Ahrefs plus low fruits combo for keyword research and a content plan. Then I find the 3 to 5 best articles for every keyword and write an article draft with AI based on them. So I think that's a good combination. What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah. And so one of the things you'll be able to do as part of our kind of upcoming keyword research functionality is get the SERP results. So like you said, you go and find the 3 to 5 best articles for every keyword and write an article draft. And that's kind of my approach
Like
to it,
what we
Gabor.
did right now in front
Yeah,
of
what we
them,
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If you think about it, we did that with one article using the Chrome extension. So, but that's pretty much what I do. Creating a medley, no pun intended, and whoever knows, creating a medley of 3 to 5 articles gives you somewhat of a more unique output to also try to rank, as opposed to using only one article to emulate. So yes, we already have a alpha version of like scraping the SERPs and giving you that data and saying, here's your top 10 organic listings, which one, piques your interest. There's a little bit more work to be able to say, select 2 or 3 or 5 of them. That's where the real process intensive work comes into play. That's where maybe we will have to say, all right, well, we can only do, 50 of those every month without going bankrupt, right?
Amazing. Yep, cool. Okay, so one of the very interesting questions, and Chetan, I think you have got this session to be going for another 1 hour. So the question is, how do you came up with the name SEO Pilot?
Good question. Good question. So two ways. SEO Pilot kind of falls under the Rocket Hub stack that we're creating. So this year, most people don't know this. So if you are attending, you're getting some inside info. But this year, we are going to be heavily focused on creating our own suite of apps that help you grow your startup. So we're startup people. We cater to startups. So the idea is we will have a Rocket suite of apps that you need to grow your startup. Now, what does that actually mean? It means you need an app for content writing and SEO. Well, we built that for you. It means you're going to need an app for email marketing or cold email marketing. We're going to come out with that this year. It means you need an app for finding investors. We're going to come out with that for you. So we've outlined a vision for Rocket Hub that includes about 10 apps that every startup needs at some point, pre-launch, while they've launched, and then post-launch. So these 10 apps are going to be the SEO, the Rocket Suite, the Rocket Stack, tech stack for lack of better words. I'll give it a fancier name after that. But why are we calling it SEO Pilot? Everything's rocket related, everything's space related. So every name for every app that's part of the Rocket Suite, you will see that it has a rocket or space theme to it. So in this case, SEO Pilot and even the names, you have a pilot for every rocket ship. That's where it comes from.
And even when you look at the pilot, it's, look at it. He's amazing. He's the coolest
Yep.
pilot you might have seen in the recent
Yep.
times.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And Joe's right. It should have been a SEO astronaut. But I think Joe's reading into some of what I'm saying already with the launch pad and things like that with those words. So
Just
yeah,
sneaky.
yeah, Joe's got a pretty good idea what's going on in my head.
All right. Cool. Awesome. I think it was great. So everyone who loved it, just type I love SEO Pilot in the comments right now. We have 14 people, just type I love SEO Pilot in the chat box, and I wish to see any one of them right there. Like, they should show that you love this, and going to post about this webinar on your socials. Kind of, we know that you enjoyed it. And last thing, the discount code is still live for SEO Pilot. So go ahead and grab your code if you haven't. We have already seen it live. So we're going to charge hundreds of dollars for this every month. So you don't need to pay that. Go ahead and grab your identity right now. I've added the link in the chat box. Go ahead. So awesome. Charlie, any last statement before we wrap it up?
No, I want to respect everybody's time. Thank you for hanging out with me. I just took an hour and 45 minutes of your life, so I respect that. Love you guys. So thanks so much for the support, as always.
All right. All right, everyone. See you. Bye-bye. Thanks.